Welcome to this Windows channel. This is the Tech News Update for Tuesday, May 31st, 2016. And in our Tech News Update today, what do we have? We have ransomware as the first news. This has been a regular in the past weeks and months. Ransomware everywhere. Basically, ransomware, for the most part, comes through email attachments. And there's been a lot of, people getting infected. Microsoft now is warning us that there's a new kind of ransomware coming up, and it's the Zcrypter ransomware. Basically, Zcrypter, like all ransomware in general, comes mostly through email attachments, and it has a difference that no other ransomware had right now. Typically, ransomware would, just encrypt your files and lock down your computer and say, okay, you got to pay to unlock your files. But this one is self-replicating. That means you put a USB thumb drive, a USB hard drive, it will go on that drive, wait until you plug it into another computer, and do its job on the other computer that you're bringing that USB thumb drive to. So it's pretty cool, and that means it actually will encrypt everything. So that's, the evolution of ransomware, basically. So be careful. Once again, you are really the one that is security on your computer. So be very careful of what you do. Mostly these ransomware don't come alone. You have to click on something. You have to do an action. And don't think your antivirus is making you safer. That is a bad way of thinking. So self-replicating ransomware coming to a computer near you. An interesting thing happened with the European Commission and in the European Union with Facebook, Microsoft, Twitter, and YouTube. After talks and lots of talks, there's been a basically they've been talking together about hate speech, basically, and they finally got to a point where they all agreed on going after anybody that has hate speech, anybody that posts anything that has some hate speech. A lot of people get mixed up with two things: hate speech and free speech, which is two separate things. Free speech, speaking your mind, is one thing, but hate speech, that's talking against a community, or talking against different races and so on. That is not free speech. That is just hate speech. And it's nice to see that Facebook, Microsoft, Twitter, and YouTube will go after anyone that has hate speech. I think it's cool because especially Twitter is probably the worst place for hate speech, but YouTube is there also. I've been having some hate comments that I think it's pretty cool. And you know what? If anybody has hate speech, frankly, not only their accounts should be shut down, they should just go after them and bring them to court. We got to stop the best. That's the best way to stop anybody doing stupid things on the internet. Let's just go after them, and let's hope that they're going to do something interesting about that. Intel, there's a conference right now called Computex, and Computex is a place where a lot of companies are showing off all sorts of hardware, and there's many tech companies there. Well, Intel has done a demonstration at Computex of its Broadwell Extreme i7 processor. This is the most powerful CPU ever made. It contains 10 cores, which is pretty cool. 10 cores, and it is an i7 CPU running at 3 gigahertz. That is a CPU that is made mostly for gaming and really extreme tasks. Of course, it does come with a very extreme price tag too. But like everything, you know what? The price will go down, and in a few years, this will probably be the standard in all the PCs. So, what I like about this is, at least, even though they've been laying off a lot of people and really cutting down on all sides of making new products. It's interesting to see that they brought this new CPU, and that kind of secures a little bit the future of the PC market. Well, global stat counter, very interesting stats. We'll have two numbers in here: the global numbers of Windows market share and the North American numbers. I always say in my videos how North America and the rest of the world are kind of not in sync. Well, here's the thing. So here's a map. This is a world map of Windows 10 and all Windows usage. Now you see a big chunk of yellow, and that's Windows 7. Big, pretty nice chunk of blue also, which is Windows 10. Well, that's the world market share. And the world market share is as follows. Windows 7 is still the leading operating system at 39.62%. Windows 10 is at 23.24%. So it shows you that we're getting close to a quarter of all PCs in the world still running Windows 10 soon. But Windows 7 is really the dominating operating system right now, but it's below 40% now. So it shows us that Windows 7 is declining somewhat. Now, if we look at North America, here's North America, and the numbers are really different. In North America, Windows 10 is now the most used operating system. Windows 10 is now 28.82% of all computers. It's the biggest market share of operating systems. So Windows 10 has taken the lead very slightly against 28.65% for Windows 7. But it shows that in North America, Windows 10 is now running on more computers. And of course, you see the other stats here, like OS 10 at 16%, Windows 8.1 still at 8.2%, Windows 8 5.9%, and Windows XP in North America, less than 3% of computers. Thank God, because this operating system is really old now. Panasonic has decided that they will stop making TV panels, and the reason, they've started making them in 2010, and they've never made profit on those. So they say they can't continue on, they can't continue like that. So basically, Panasonic is going to stop making the panels, but the good news behind that, because there's a sad news, is the fact that the Panasonic panels were regarded as the best panels in the industry. The good news is that Panasonic will share its expertise in the panels, meaning that other companies will be able to kind of get into that information of how they were making the panels and maybe improve their own panels with the Panasonic technology. That's at least the good news here. And finally, Panasonic is not stopping the production of TVs. It's still going to make TVs, but it will use the South Korean LG company panels in their own televisions. So it's a very difficult market. TVs are really not expensive, and companies have a hard time making money. And finally, in our last news, it's kind of interesting. It seems that according to some news from Apple, internal news, basically iPhone refreshes will be moving to a 3-year cycle now. Before, iPhone refreshes had 2-year cycles. Every 2 years there was some new iPhone that was amazing with all sorts of new gizmos and all sorts of new technologies. Well, it seems that Apple is now finding it hard to innovate with their iPhones, and they are pushing the cycle to 3 years. In between, small refreshes with their phones. Nothing incredible, just a little more speed, bigger displays, or displays that will change, or updates to the operating system, stuff like that. But that it's kind of scary. If you look at Apple, that declining sales and having more and more difficulty in actually selling their products around the world, it seems that this is not a good news. Refresh every 3 years means even less iPhone sales, from what I can see. And at the same time, you look at other companies like Samsung with the Galaxy S7 phone and so on that are innovating in all sorts of ways and doing great stuff. I think Apple is in a kind of a dire situation. They're not losing money right now, but in the next few years, it's going to be interesting to see how they fare well. If they don't innovate more than that. So this was the Tech News Update for Tuesday, May 31st, 2016. You have any comments, questions, suggestions? Maybe you have something that you want to comment about a news item that I just talked about? Of course, let us know. Leave a comment. It's always fun to have your feedback. If you like our videos, why not subscribe to our channel? You'll be informed when new videos are online. And give us thumbs up. Thank you.